Shalom, Israel. This is King JJ. My video today is about who are the Israelites and how to identify them. Israelites are a lineage started from Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob and his 12 sons. Now I want to start with Genesis chapter 12, verse 1. Now the Lord has said unto Abram, Get thee out of the country from thy kindred and from thy father's house unto a land that I will shew thee, and I will make of thee a great nation, and I will bless thee, and make thy name great, and thou shalt be a blessing. I'm going to jump down to verse 7. And the Lord appeared unto Abram, and said, Unto thy seed will I give this land. And there builded he an altar unto the Lord, who appeared unto him. So that's the moment when Abram, God started talking to Abram. So we're going to go down. We're going to go to Genesis 17. We're going to get verse 1 through 2. Genesis chapter 17, verse 1. And when Abram was 90 years old and 9, the Lord appeared to Abram and said unto him, I am the Almighty Yah. Walk before me and be thou perfect. And I will make my covenant between me and thee and multiply thee exceedingly. Okay, so that's him making his covenant with Abraham. So now we're going to jump down to verse 8. And I will give thee unto thee and to thy seed after thee the land wherein thou art a stranger, all the land of Canaan for an everlasting possession, and I will be their God. So he says, I will give to you and your seed the land of Canaan, and he will be their God. So now we're going to jump down to verse 19. And God said, Sarah thy wife shall bear thee a son indeed, and thou shalt call his name Isaac, and I will establish my covenant with him for an everlasting covenant, and with his seed after him. So a little information on that. His first son was Ishmael, but God said he's going to establish his covenant with his son Isaac. So we're going to go down to verse 21. But my covenant will I establish with Isaac, which Sarah shall bear unto thee at this set time in the next year. So now we're going to go over to Genesis 25. We're going to get verse 20 through 26. Genesis chapter 25, verse 20. And Isaac was 40 years old when he took Rebekah to wife, the daughter of Bethuel, the Syrian of Padanaram, the sister of Laban the Syrian. And Isaac entreated the Lord for his wife, because she was barren. I mean, she was not could be able to have kids. And the Lord was entreated of him, and Rebekah his wife conceived. So Most High allowed them to have a child. And the children struggled together within her. And she said, If it be so, why am I thus? And she went to inquire of the Lord. And the Lord said unto her, Two nations are in thy womb, and two manner of people should be separated from thy bowels. And the one people should be stronger than the other people, and the elder should serve the younger. So God let her know there's two different nations inside your womb, and one people will be stronger than the other one, and the elder will serve the younger. And when her days to be delivered were fulfilled, behold, there were twins in her womb. And the first came out red, all over like a hairy garment, and they called his name Esau. Okay, so Esau is the one who came out first. That's the elder. And after that came out his brother, and his hand took hold on Esau's heel, and his name was called Jacob. And Isaac was 80 old when she bare them. So Jacob is the younger. And we're gonna go fast forward. So you see it's been going from Abraham, Isaac, now we at Jacob. Now we're gonna go to Genesis chapter 46. We're going to get verse 1 through 3. Genesis chapter 46, verse 1. And Israel took his journey with all that he had, and came to Beersheba, and offered sacrifices unto the God of his father Isaac. And God spake unto Israel in the vision of the night, and said, Jacob, Jacob. And he said, Here I am. And he said, I am God, the God of thy father. Fear not, fear not to go down into Egypt, for I will there make of thee a great nation. Now I'm going to fast forward a little bit until after the children of Israel went to Egypt, God brings them out. So I'm going to start at Exodus chapter 2, verse 23. And it came to pass in process of time that the king of Egypt died, and the children of Israel sighed by reason of the bondage. And they cried, and their cry came up to God by reason of the bondage. And God heard their groaning, and God remembered his covenant with Abraham, with Isaac, and with Jacob. And God looked upon the children of Israel, and God had respect unto them. Okay, so now we're going to go to Exodus chapter 3. We'll go over one chapter, and we're going to do a little reading on this one. We're going to get verse 1 through 10. Exodus chapter 3, verse 1. Now Moses kept the flock of Jethro, his father-in-law, the priest of Midian, and he led the flock to the backside of the desert, and came to the mountain of God, even to Horeb. And the angel of the Lord appeared unto him in a flame of fire out of the midst of a bush. And he looked, and behold, the bush burned with fire, and the bush was not consumed. And Moses said, I will now turn aside and see this great sight, by the bush is not burnt. And when the Lord saw that he turned aside to see, God called unto him out of the midst of the bush, and said, Moses, Moses. And he said, Here I am. And he said, Draw not hither, put off thy shoes from off thy feet, for the place wherein thy standest is holy ground. So he made him take off his shoes, because it was a holy ground what he was coming into. Moreover, he said, I am the God of thy father, the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob. And Moses hid his face, for he was afraid to look upon God. So I guess seeing God scared him, so he had to hide his face. And the Lord said, I have surely seen the affliction of my people, which are in Egypt, and have heard their cry by reason of their taskmasters, for I know their sorrows. And I come down to deliver them out of the hand of the Egyptians, and to bring them up out of the land unto a good land, and a large unto a land flowing with milk and honey, unto the place of the Canaanites, and the Hittites, and the Amorites, and the Perizzites, and the Hivitites, and the Jebusites. Now therefore, behold, the cry of the children of Israel is come unto me, and I have also seen the oppression wherewith the Egyptians oppress them. Come now, therefore, and I will send thee unto Pharaoh, that thou mayest bring forth my people, the children of Israel, out of Egypt. So that was the saying when God talked to Moses and told him, I'm sending you into Egypt to go get my children, Israel, because he hearing the cries of our people was in the land of Egypt. Now we're going to go to Deuteronomy. So we're going to fast forward to after Moses brought them out of Egypt. And when he brought them out of Egypt, he gave them instructions how to live. So we're going to go to Deuteronomy chapter 1, verse 1. These be the words which Moses spake unto all Israel on this side of Jordan, in the wilderness, in the plain over against the Red Sea, between Paran and Tophah and Lebanon, Hezrah and Dizah. So I just want to show you Deuteronomy verse 1 shows you who's he's speaking to. He's speaking to all Israel. And we're going to go to Deuteronomy chapter 28. And Salaki Israel, I meant to say when he brought them out of Egypt, these are the promises that he's going to promise the children of Israel if they listen to him. So now we're going to go to Deuteronomy 28, verse 1. And it shall come to pass, if thou shalt hearken diligently unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe and to do all his commandments, which I command thee this day, that the Lord thy God will set thee on high above all nations of the earth. So he told them when they came out of Egypt, if they hearken to his commandments, he would set them high above all nations on earth. And all these blessings shall come on thee and overtake thee, if thou shalt hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God. So they're going to give you two blessings he gave them. Blessed shall thy be in the city, blessed shall thy be in the field. Blessed shall be the fruit of thy body, and the fruit of thy ground, and the fruit of thy cattle, the increase of thy kind, and the flocks of thy sheep. So those are the blessings. So we're going to jump down to see what happens if they do not obey his commandments. So we're going to go to Deuteronomy 28, verse 15. But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe to do all his commandments and his statutes, which I command thee this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee. So he gave them blessings. He said, if you listen to me, I'm going to set you high above all nations. But then he told them, if you do not hearken to me, I'm going to curse you, and all these curses going to overtake you. So we're going to start with some curses. We're going to start with verse 16. Cursed should I be in the city, and cursed should I be in the field. So the children of Israel, if they didn't hearken to God's commandments, they'd be cursed in the city. They would live in the worst parts of the cities. And cursed should I be in the field. They will be on plantations, working as slaves. Verse 17. Cursed should I be thy basket and thy store. They stores will have the most rotten food. It just won't be good. All their food will have poison. They would not have the good grocery stores or none of that. So in verse 18, cursed should be the fruit of thy body and the fruit of thy land, and the increase of thy kind and the flocks of thy sheep. So in blessings, he said, blessed be the fruit of thy body in the land, and all your sheep and your animals. With the curses, he said he's going to curse even your animals. So he was very mad at the children of Israel. So we're going to jump down to verse 23. The Lord shall make thee rain of thy land, powder and dust. From heaven shall it come down upon thee until thou be destroyed. So any of their lands, they won't have the nice rain to grow their crops and stuff. He's going to make their crops die out and stuff. We're going to go to verse 25. The Lord shall cause thee to be smitten before thy enemies. Thou shalt go out one way against them, and flee 7 ways before them, and shall be removed into all kingdoms of the earth. So it says when your enemy's trying to get you, you're going to run, and everywhere you run, they're going to get you. And you're going to be going into captivity in all kingdoms of the earth. That means all nations. We go to verse 28. The Lord shall smite thee with madness and blindness and astonishment of heart. So one of the curses is that you're going to have mental issues, mental disorders with the children of Israel. So we're going to go down to verse 29. And thou shalt grope at noonday, as the blind gropeth in darkness. And thou shalt not prosper in thy ways. And thou shalt be only oppressed and spoiled every more, and no man shall save thee. So the children of Israel, since they didn't want to listen, they're going to be grouping at noonday. They would not know who they are. They would not know their heritage. They won't know nothing about themselves. And they'll be always oppressed, down, sad, wonder why nothing can go right for them. And they would not be able to prosper. They would not be able to own things like the other nations. Verse 30. Thou shalt betroth a wife, and another man shall lie with her. Thou shalt build an house, and thou shalt not dwell therein. Thou shalt plant a vineyard, and shalt not gather the grapes thereof. So back on the plantations, if you had a wife, you about to get married, the slave owner would have to rape your wife before you even marry her. So that's what it means. You should have another man lie with your wife. So we're going to go to verse 32. Thy sons and thy daughters should be given to another people, and thy eyes shall look and fill with longing for them all day long, and there should be no might in thy hand. So they would take your children on the plantation, send them to another plantation, and you couldn't do nothing about it. You had no power, no strength to do nothing. You just had to sit there and watch your kids get taken away from you. And we'll go down to verse 41. Thou shalt beget sons and daughters, but thou shalt not enjoy them, for they should go into captivity. So, like I said in verse 32, you have children, but you won't be able to spend time with them, watch them grow old, because they would take them, send them to another plantation, and they would be slaves also. And we'll go to verse 43. The stranger that's within thee should get up above thee very high, and thou shalt come down very low. So, like Deuteronomy 28, verse 1 said, you're going to be high above nations. But since you have the curses, if they didn't hearken to their God, they would be at the bottom. And all the other nations would be very high. And we go down to verse 48. Therefore shall thy serve thy enemies, which the Lord shall send against thee, and hunger, and thirst, and nakedness, and want of all things. And he shall put a yoke of iron upon thy neck until he have destroyed thee. So when they was on plantations, they put yokes on their iron, on their neck, and till they destroyed them, till they got rid of them, knowing they was the children of Israel in all types of forms. And we'll go to the last curse. We're going to jump down to verse 68. And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships, by the whereof I speak unto thee. Thou shalt see it no more again. And there you shall be sold unto your enemies for bondmen and bondwomen, and no man shall buy you. So the Lord says, bring thee into Egypt. Egypt, with the Bible, I have to get it for you. It defines itself. We're going to go to Exodus. Exodus chapter 20, verse 2. I am the Lord thy God, which have brought thee out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage. So Egypt means house of bondage. It means the place where you would be slaves at. Okay? So we're going to go back to Deuteronomy chapter 28. And we're going to go to verse 46. And they should be upon thee for a sign and for a wonder upon thy seed forever. So these curses and these blessings will be on the children of Israel for a sign and for a wonder forever. So if they chose the blessings, they'll be recognized by all the blessings. But if they chose the curses, they'll be recognized by all the curses. Okay? And I want to give a precept for that one. I want to go to Romans chapter 8, verse 16. The Spirit itself bear witness with our spirit that we are the children of God. So your spirit will bear witness. If you could see your life and you see these curses that fit you, then your spirit bear witness that you are the children of God. So you see, the one who bear witness would be the blacks, Hispanics, and the Native Americans. They're the ones who went through all these atrocities. And they're the ones who are at the bottom and wonder why they can't prosper and nothing going their way. Because their forefathers chose the curses. They didn't want to obey their God. So I'm going to show you another scripture that proves that the blacks, Hispanics, and the Native Americans bear witness to the children of Israel. Go to Zechariah chapter 11, verse 5. Who possessors slay them and hold themselves not guilty, and they that sell them say, Blessed be the Lord, for I am rich, and their own shepherds pity them not. So that's why the blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans wonder why we get gunned down in the streets, um, all unfair at the job. All these things happen to us, and all these people that do these things to us, they don't hold themselves accountability. because we're under this curse. So I'm going to give you another scripture to show you, bear witness that who are the children of Israel. I'm going to go to Galatians chapter 3, verse 13. Christ has redeemed us from the curse of the law, being made a curse for us. For it is written, "Cursed is everyone that hangeth on a tree." So now we understand why the blacks was getting hung on trees back in the 1800s to 1600s, because they chose the curses. All right. So before I leave off, I want to leave off with some good news. I have to go on my phone. Now I'm gonna go to Apocrypha. We're gonna go to Baruch chapter 4, verse 4. O Israel, happy are we, for things that are pleasing to God are made known unto us. Verse 5. Be of good cheer, my people, the memorial of Israel. So we are the children of Israel. All we have to do is come back to the commandments, because what's pleasing to God is for the children of Israel. And that's my video. Hopefully, y'all was edified, and I explained it that the children of Israel is a lineage. It started at Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and his 12 sons. Okay, that was my breakdown to showing you who the children of Israel. I hope this video edified you. Shalom.